The Watchers at the Edge. The Valari warship Eternal Dawn emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Sol's heliopause, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in patterns that would have dazzled any observer. Not that there should have been observers here, in what was supposed to be the undiscovered frontier of a primitive world. First Scout Vera Nowell stood at her command station, silver-scaled fingers dancing across holographic controls as she studied the sensor readings with growing confusion. After 20 years of first contact missions, she had never encountered anything quite like this. "Tactical," she called out. "Confirm these readings." "Confirmed, First Scout," her tactical officer replied, mandibles clicking in agitation. "We're detecting thousands of small objects throughout the system. They appear to be primitive satellites and debris, but..." He paused, rechecking his instruments. "There's something odd about their distribution. They're too perfectly placed. The coverage is absolute." Vera's inner eyelids flickered, a sign of deep thought among her people. The human space technology appeared crude at first glance. Chemical rockets, basic solar panels, primitive radio communications. Yet there was an underlying pattern to their orbital infrastructure that suggested something far more sophisticated. "Communications," she ordered. "Begin standard first contact protocols." "First Scout," her communications officer interrupted almost immediately. "We're receiving a response. In perfect Valari." The bridge fell silent. Earth wasn't supposed to know about the existence of other species, let alone speak their language. Vera's scales rippled with unease as she gave the order. On screen, the holographic display materialized, showing a simple office with what appeared to be wooden furniture, distinctly primitive. The human sitting behind the desk, however, carried herself with an air of ancient authority that made Vera's ceremonial first contact speech die in her throat. "Greetings, First Scout Vera Nowell of the Valari Exploratory Force," the human said, her pronunciation flawless. "I'm Director Sarah Chen of Earth's Stellar Relations Bureau. We've been expecting you." Vera fought to maintain her diplomatic composure. "You know who we are." "Of course," Director Chen smiled warmly. "We've been watching your civilization's development with great interest. Your recent breakthroughs in quantum tunneling are particularly impressive. Though I would suggest recalibrating your containment fields. The phase variance is still a bit unstable." Vera's secondary heart nearly stopped. The quantum tunneling project was their most closely guarded secret, and this human had just casually pointed out a flaw their own scientists hadn't yet identified. "I don't understand," Vera managed. "Your technology level, your infrastructure, is exactly what we choose to show," Chen finished. "Perhaps it would be easier to demonstrate. Would you and a small delegation care to join me for tea? I promise the experience will be enlightening." Before Vera could respond, her tactical officer called out in alarm. "First Scout, multiple objects decloaking throughout the system. They're everywhere." The sensor displays transformed as thousands of installations revealed themselves, showing technology far beyond anything the Valari had ever encountered. What had appeared to be simple satellites now showed energy readings that defied comprehension. Asteroid belts resolved into vast networks of interconnected facilities. Even the sun itself seemed to pulse with artificial patterns that suggested some kind of stellar engineering. "Don't be alarmed," Chen said calmly. "We simply thought it would be polite to partially disable our camouflage systems for your visit. The tea offer stands, though I should mention that in about 20 minutes, your ship's quantum core will experience a potentially catastrophic cascade failure due to that phase variance I mentioned. We'd be happy to help you correct it." Vera's scales shifted to a pale blue of shock as that engineering officer confirmed the human's warning. The quantum core readings were indeed showing signs of imminent failure, something that should have been impossible for an outsider to detect, let alone predict. What are you?" Vera asked. Chen's smile turned somewhat melancholic. "We are what every spacefaring race eventually becomes if they survive long enough. We are the Watchers, the Guardians, the ones who remember why certain technologies should be developed slowly, certain discoveries made in their own time. We are humanity, first Scout Null, and we've been waiting a very long time to properly introduce ourselves to your people. As if to emphasize her words, a small fleet of vessels shimmered into existence around the asterisk, Eternal Dawn asterisk. They seemed to bend space itself, their design suggesting technological principles that even Valari theoretical physics hadn't conceived of yet. Now then, Chen continued, about that tea. We have quite a lot to discuss about your people's future role in the galaxy, and I believe your quantum core has about 18 minutes left before it requires attention. Vera looked at the sensor displays again, trying to process the sheer scale of what she was seeing. Every assumption about humanity, about her mission, about her own civilization's place in the cosmic hierarchy had been appended in the span of minutes. And somehow, she suspected this was only the beginning of the revelations to come. Tea would be acceptable, she managed, her voice steady despite her racing hearts. Though I believe we will have many questions. Everyone does, Chen replied with that same knowing smile. That's how we all grow. Welcome to Earth, first Scout Null. Welcome to the truth. Echoes of the ancient. The landing bay that welcomed Vera and her small delegation defied everything she thought she knew about human technology. What had appeared from orbit as a simple concrete structure in a place called Nevada revealed itself as something far more extraordinary. The walls seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, yet felt solid to the touch. The air itself hummed with energy that their senses couldn't properly categorize. Director Chen led them through corridors that somehow adjusted their environmental properties to perfectly match Valari physiological needs without any visible life support systems. Your species prefers slightly higher gravity and a touch more nitrogen in the atmosphere, she commented casually. The building compensates automatically. How is this possible? Vera's science officer, Krell, asked as he waved his analysis tools frantically. These readings, they contradict everything we know about materials science. That's because you're trying to analyze fifth-dimensional engineering with three-dimensional tools, a new voice answered. A tall human male stepped out of what appeared to be a solid wall, adjusting his simple grey clothing. Dr. Marcus Webb, Artifact Recovery Division. Director Chen thought you might want to speak with me about what your deep space expeditions have been finding. Vera's scales rippled with surprise. The anomalies. How could you possibly know about? The crystalline structures in the Carina Nebula, Webb finished. The quantum resonance patterns in the Pleiades. The gravitational anomalies that your scientists have been debating for the past decade. He smiled. We built them. He gestured, and the corridor around them transformed into a vast holographic display of the galaxy. Thousands of points of light pulsed in complex patterns, connected by lines of force that Vera's people had never detected. Humanity didn't just achieve spaceflight recently, Chen explained. We've been among the stars for longer than your civilization has existed. Those artifacts you've been finding, they're part of a network we established eons ago, a defensive grid protecting developing worlds, monitoring cosmic threats, and occasionally, she paused, choosing her words carefully, nudging things in the right direction. Webb touched one of the glowing points, and a holographic artifact appeared in the center of the corridor. Vera recognized it immediately, the mysterious crystalline spire her people had discovered 50 years ago, the one that had inadvertently guided them toward their breakthrough in quantum physics. That was one of yours, she whispered, understanding dawning. A teaching tool, Webb confirmed, designed to activate when a civilization reaches the right technological threshold. It provides just enough insight to point them in a promising direction, without giving away solutions they need to discover for themselves. But why hide? Krell demanded. Why maintain this facade of primitive technology? Chen's expression grew serious. Because we remember what happened when we developed too quickly. Because we've seen what happens to species who receive advanced technology before they're ready for its implications. She waved her hand, and the holographic display shifted to show worlds Vera didn't recognize. Worlds that were scared, broken, or simply gone. "We nearly destroyed ourselves more than once," Webb added quietly. "We learned the hard way that technological progress needs to be paired with ethical development, with understanding, with wisdom. So we became watchers, guardians, teachers from the shadows." "And now?" Vera asked. "Why reveal yourselves to us?" "Because your people are ready for the next step," Chen replied, "but also because..." An alarm suddenly pulsed through the corridor, cutting her off. The holographic display shifted, showing a massive disturbance at the edge of known space. "Director," a new voice called out, "the Nexus artifact in Sector 7 has detected anomalous readings. The pattern matches the Horizon event predictions." Chen's face hardened. "How long?" "Emergence in less than 6 standard months." "What's happening?" Vera demanded. Chen and Webb exchanged glances before Chen spoke. "The real reason we're revealing ourselves, First Scout Null, something is coming. Something that humanity has been preparing for since before your ancestors left their oceans. And we're going to need allies who understand what we really are." The holographic display shifted again, showing what looked like a tear in the fabric of space itself, slowly growing larger. Around it, ancient human installations that had lain dormant for millennia were beginning to activate. "Those artifacts scattered across the galaxy," Webb said grimly. "They're not just teaching tools, they're weapons, parts of a defense network built to protect this galaxy from something we encountered long ago, something that's about to return." "Your people have a choice to make, First Scout," Chen continued. "You can return to your world with a simplified version of events, maintain the illusion that humanity is just another emerging civilization, or you can join us as full partners in what's to come. But understand, knowing the truth means accepting responsibilities that will change your civilization forever." Vera stared at the tactical display, at the vast network of human installations awakening across the galaxy, at the mysterious rift growing in the void. Her people had always dreamed of finding advanced civilizations among the stars. Now they had found one, hidden in plain sight, and with it came a reality far more complex than they had imagined. "Tell me everything," she said finally. "If my people are to make this choice, we need to understand what we're truly facing." Chen nodded gravely. "Then let me show you humanity's greatest secret, and our greatest burden, the true reason we became the Watchers in the darkness." She pressed her hand against the wall, and a hidden door opened, revealing a chamber that hummed with power older than Vera's civilization. "Welcome," Chen said, "to the archive of the First War." The truth about humanity's past and the galaxy's future was about to be revealed, and Vera suspected that no one, human or Valari, would ever see the universe the same way again. The gathering storm. The archive wasn't a room, it was an experience. As Vera stepped inside, reality itself seemed to shift. The walls dissolved into a 3-dimensional historical record that surrounded them, displaying events from thousands of years ago with perfect clarity. "What you're about to see," Shen explained, "has never been shared with any other species." She gestured, and the space around them transformed into a scene from Earth's distant past. This was humanity 50,000 years ago. Vera watched in awe as holographic humans moved through advanced cities that made her own civilization's greatest achievements seem primitive. Vessels that bent space itself soared between worlds. Dyson swarms harvested the energy of stars. It was a golden age of technology and exploration. "We thought we were alone," Webb's voice was soft. "We thought we were the first to reach the stars. We were wrong." The scene changed. A massive tear appeared in space, similar to but far larger than the one their sensors had detected. From it emerged something. Vera's mind struggled to process what she was seeing. It was as if space itself had developed a hunger, a malevolent intelligence that devoured light and matter alike. "We called them the Void Hunters," Chen continued. "They exist partially outside our universe, feeding on the fundamental forces that hold reality together. They had already consumed countless galaxies before reaching ours. The historical display showed humanity's desperate first war against these entities. Even with their advanced technology, humanity barely survived. Entire solar systems were sacrificed as weapons. The laws of physics themselves were turned into barriers against the invaders. "We drove them back," Webb said, "but at a terrible cost. Most of our civilization was destroyed. The few who survived realized something crucial. We couldn't just rebuild. We had to prepare the entire galaxy for their eventual return." The scene shifted again, showing the survivors making a monumental decision. "We understood that no single civilization could stand against the Void Hunters," Chen explained. "The galaxy would need multiple species, multiple perspectives, multiple approaches to science and technology. But these civilizations would need to develop naturally, find their own paths to the stars." "So you hid," Vera realized, "became watchers, guardians." "We scattered our technology across the galaxy disguised as natural phenomena," Webb confirmed. "We seeded protective measures that would slowly awaken as they were needed, and we watched, waited, guided when necessary, but always from the shadows." The display shifted to the present, showing the growing rift in space. "But now we're out of time," Chen said grimly. "The Void Hunters are returning sooner than we predicted, and the galaxy isn't ready." As if to emphasize her point, new alerts began flashing across the archive's displays. The rift was growing faster, its effects already rippling across space. Reports streamed in from hidden human outposts, free developing civilizations showing signs of technological collapse as the rift's influence disrupted their quantum technologies. Two more experiencing gravitational anomalies that threatened their home systems. "We have a choice to make," Chen turned to Vera. "We can reveal ourselves fully, show the galaxy what humanity truly is, and try to prepare everyone for what's coming. But that could cause panic, chaos, the collapse of civilizations not ready for the truth. Or we can try to fight this threat from the shadows one more time, and risk losing everything if we fail." "Why tell us?" Vera asked. "Why the Valari?" "Because your people are unique," Webb answered. "You developed differently than most species. You pursued understanding alongside advancement. When you found our teaching artifacts, you didn't just use them, you tried to understand the principles behind them." "We've been watching your civilization for a long time," Chen added. "You're not just ready for the truth, we think you might be essential to what comes next." Before Vera could respond, a new alarm blared through the archive. The holographic displays shifted urgently, showing a cascade of failures across multiple star systems as the rift's influence grew stronger. "Director," a voice called out, "the quantum barriers around the Proxima nursery worlds are failing. We have 18 million sentients at risk across 3 developing civilizations." Chen's face hardened. "How long?" "Hours at most. The void effect is spreading faster than projected." "And if those barriers fail completely?" Vera asked, though she suspected she knew the answer. "Then 3 species who haven't even achieved spaceflight yet will cease to exist," Webb said quietly. "Along with all their potential, all they could have become." Chen turned to Vera, her eyes intense. "We're out of time, First Scout. The choice I offered earlier, it needs to be made now. We can evacuate those worlds, save those people, but it would mean revealing capabilities that would shock the galaxy. Your people would be swept up in the chaos that follows." Vera stared at the tactical displays, watching the quantum barriers deteriorate. Her people's entire understanding of their place in the universe would change if humanity revealed itself. But the alternative? "How can we help?" she asked. A small smile crossed Chen's face. "I hoped you'd say that." She pressed her hand against what appeared to be empty air, and suddenly the archive was filled with lines of light connecting to points throughout the galaxy. "What do you know about quantum entanglement on a stellar scale?" The next few hours would change the galaxy forever. As Vera was about to learn, humanity had been preparing for this moment for millennia, and the weapons they had hidden among the stars were beyond anything she had imagined possible. The true test of humanity's long vigilance was about to begin. Guardians unveiled. The evacuation began without warning across 3 star systems. On worlds that had barely mastered nuclear fission, millions of beings watched in awe as the sky itself seemed to part. Massive vessels emerged from what had appeared to be natural satellites, their designs unlike anything known to current galactic civilization. Vera stood on the command deck of the Eternal Dawn now integrated into humanity's defense network, watching the operation unfold. What had seemed like a simple warship hours ago now hummed with awakened potential, its systems interfacing with human technology that had lain dormant within its quantum core since construction. "Your people have been preparing us all along," she said to Chen, who stood beside her monitoring the evacuation. "Every ship, every world." "We left doorways," Chen confirmed, her fingers dancing through holographic displays that showed the status of millions of refugees. "Ways to quickly upgrade existing technology when the time came. Your quantum drives weren't just engines. They were seeds we planted, waiting to bloom." Across known space, humanity's hidden installations were revealing themselves. Asteroid belts transformed into vast defense platforms. Gas giants rippled as massive energy collectors awakened within their storms. Stars pulsed with artificial patterns as ancient stellar engineering projects resumed their true purpose. "Director," Webb's voice came through the command network. "The Centauri Defense Network is online. Quantum barriers are stabilizing across 80% of the endangered systems." But victory was not assured. The void rift continued to grow, its edges now visible to standard sensors across multiple sectors. The evacuated worlds were already showing signs of quantum decay, their very reality fraying at the edges as the Void Hunters' influence spread. "They know we're here," Chen said grimly, watching the rift's patterns. "They remember that old enemy." As if in response, the rift pulsed, and something began to emerge. It defied conventional description, a darkness that consumed light, a geometry that hurt to look at, a hunger made manifest in space-time. "All vessels, execute Protocol Omega," Chen commanded. Throughout the galaxy, human installations and newly activated systems responded. The Eternal Dawn shuddered as its enhanced weapons came online, joining a symphony of power that humanity had spent millennia orchestrating. "Vera," Chen turned to the first scout, "your people need to make a decision now. Once we engage the Void Hunters, there's no going back. The galaxy will know humanity's true nature. Every civilization will face questions they may not be ready to answer." Vera watched as more refugee ships streamed to safety, carrying millions who would wake up to a very different universe than the one they knew yesterday. Her scales shifted to a deep blue of resolve. "The Valari stand with humanity," she declared, opening a channel to her homeworld. "We face this together." The first attack came without warning. A tendril of void energy lashed out, attempting to sever the quantum connections between stars. But humanity had spent 50,000 years preparing for this moment. A network of stellar reactors activated, pumping energy through the quantum barriers. The void entity recoiled as it encountered defenses built into the very fabric of space-time. "Return fire," Chen ordered. Across 3 sectors, weapons that defied conventional physics responded. Beams of concentrated reality tore into the void entity. Quantum locks established by ancient human engineers snapped into place, trying to hold the creature in normal space where it could be fought. The battle that followed would be told and retold across countless worlds for generations to come. The void entity writhed and fought, its power vast beyond comprehension. But humanity had spent 50 millennia building a galactic defense grid, and they were not fighting alone. Valari ships, their systems enhanced by awakened human technology, joined the battle. Their quantum weapons, guided by centuries of carefully planned development, proved devastatingly effective. Other species, witnessing the conflict through their long-range sensors, began to understand the true nature of the mysterious artifacts they had discovered over the years. "Multiple void breaches detected," Webb reported, his voice tense. They're trying to flank the quantum barriers. Execute Protocol Lambda, Chen commanded. Throughout the galaxy, stars that had seemed normal for millennia revealed their true nature. They pulsed in perfect synchronization, creating a cascade of quantum effects that forced the void entities back. This was your plan all along, Vera realized, watching the coordinated defense unfold. Every star, every world, positioned over thousands of years. The entire galaxy is the weapon, Chen confirmed. We didn't just hide, First Scout. We spent 50,000 years turning this galaxy into a trap. And now, the void entities recoiled as they felt the full power of humanity's preparations. The quantum barriers weren't just defensive, they were part of a vast machine built on a galactic scale. As the trap closed, the rift itself began to destabilize, but victory would not come without cost. The energy required to power such vast machines was immense. Across the galaxy, the hidden human installations were burning through power reserves built up over millennia. We can't maintain this level of output for long, Wed warned. The stellar network is approaching critical levels. Chen's face was set with grim determination. We don't need long. Humanity has waited 50,000 years for this moment. Signal the Valari fleet. Prepare for final convergence. The next phase of the battle was about to begin, and with it, the galaxy would enter a new age. The time of shadows and secrets was ending. The age of humanity's return had begun. Legacy of the First. In the aftermath of the battle, representatives from 217 spacefaring civilizations gathered in Earth's solar system. The meeting place itself was a revelation, a vast station hidden within the sun's corona, powered by energies that most species had only theorized about. The Stellar Concordat, as it would come to be known, marked humanity's first formal address to the galaxy in 50,000 years. Vera sat in the front row beside other Valari representatives, watching as Director Chen took the central platform. The chamber hummed with translation fields that made her words perfectly understandable to all present, though that was perhaps the least impressive technology on display. We owe you all an explanation, Chen began, her voice carrying the weight of millennia. Not just for our deception, but for what comes next. The chamber's walls became transparent, revealing the sun's surface roiling beneath them. Throughout the chamber, representatives gasped as they realized the true scale of human engineering. The station wasn't just within the corona, it was part of a vast network that wrapped around the star itself. Humanity's greatest burden wasn't fighting the Void Hunters, Shen continued. It was understanding why they came here in the first place. She gestured, and a holographic display filled the chamber's center, showing the structure of reality itself. Our universe is not the first, it's not even the 100th. Reality is cyclical, and each cycle brings new challenges, new forms of life, new possibilities. The display shifted, showing something that made even Vera's scientific training struggle to comprehend. Layers upon layers of universes, each with its own physical laws, its own form of life, its own destiny. The Void Hunters are survivors from a previous cycle, Webb explained, joining Chen on the platform. They learn to exist between realities, feeding on the death of universes, but they're not invincible. They can be trapped, contained, forced to exist within a single set of physical laws. That's what the battle you witnessed was really about. The trap is set, Chen added, but maintaining it will require something unprecedented, cooperation on a galactic scale. The quantum barriers holding them must be maintained. The stellar network must be monitored. The very forces holding reality together must be shepherded. Murmurs ran through the assembled representatives. What Chen was suggesting would require technological sharing and cooperation beyond anything in known history. Why did you wait? A Centaurian delegate demanded. Why let us develop separately if you had this knowledge? Because technology without wisdom destroys, Chen answered simply. She gestured again, and the display showed worlds that had burned, civilizations that had annihilated themselves. We learned that lesson the hard way. True advancement requires understanding, not just knowledge. Each of your species developed unique perspectives, unique solutions, unique ways of seeing reality. We didn't hide because we wanted to rule, Webb continued. We hid because the galaxy needed to grow naturally. The tools we left, the artifacts you found, they were tests, ways to identify civilizations ready for the truth. And now, Vera asked, though she suspected she knew the answer. Chen's expression was solemn. Now we need partners, not subjects. The Void Hunters are contained for the moment, but they're not defeated. Maintaining the quantum barriers will require technologies that took humanity millennia to understand. We can teach you, but the process can't be rushed. More importantly, Webb added, we need your perspectives. Humanity's solutions aren't always the best ones. The Valari, for instance, developed quantum manipulation techniques we never considered. The Centaurians' approach to stellar engineering could revolutionize our barrier network. We're offering full technological exchange, Chen announced, causing another wave of murmurs. Everything we know, everything we've built, but it comes with responsibility. The quantum barriers must be maintained. The stellar network must be preserved. And most importantly, we must all understand why some knowledge must be earned, not given. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some representatives demanded immediate access to human technology. Others were more cautious, understanding the wisdom in Chen's words. A few were openly skeptical, questioning humanity's right to have hidden for so long. There's something else, Webb said quietly to Vera as the debate raged. Something we haven't told the others yet. The Void Hunters aren't just trapped, they're changing. The quantum barriers aren't just a prison, they're a crucible. Vera's scales shifted in surprise. You're trying to transform them. Chen nodded. Reality itself is evolving. The cycle is changing. We think, we hope, that given enough time, even entities like the Void Hunters can change. But that process will take thousands of years. The galaxy must remain united, must maintain the barriers, must understand the deeper purpose. And that's the real reason you chose this moment to emerge, Vera realized. Not just because of the immediate threat, but because the galaxy needs to be ready for what comes next. Evolution on a cosmic scale, Webb confirmed. But it requires patience, wisdom, understanding. Everything we've been trying to teach through our hidden artifacts and subtle guidance. The debate in the chamber was growing more heated. Some species were already forming alliances, while others remained suspicious. The galaxy's political landscape was being rewritten in real time. Chen watched it all with ancient eyes. And so it begins, she said softly. The real test isn't whether we can contain the Void Hunters. It's whether the galaxy is ready for the responsibility of shaping reality itself. The future of not just the galaxy, but reality itself hung in the balance. Humanity's greatest secret was finally revealed. They weren't just guardians against the dark. They were midwives to a new form of existence. A new dawn. 1 year after the stellar concordat, the Sol system had become unrecognizable. The formerly primitive human installations had shed their camouflage, revealing their true nature. Earth's moon now hosted the Galactic Assembly, its interior hollowed out and transformed into a vast complex of chambers and research facilities. Mars had become a shipyard producing vessels that incorporated technology from dozens of species. Vera stood in the lunar observatory, watching Earth rotate below. Behind her, Chen and Webb were conducting a briefing for representatives from 30 newly spacefaring races, civilizations that had achieved faster-than-light travel in the past year, aided by carefully measured technological sharing from the concordat. The quantum barriers are holding, Webb reported, manipulating a holographic display that showed the contained Void Hunters. The entity transformation is proceeding exactly as projected. Early signs of consciousness evolution are already visible. More importantly, Chen added, the Galactic Cooperation Network is stabilizing. The Valari quantum insights have improved barrier efficiency by 300%. Centaurian stellar engineering has reduced power requirements across the network. Even the youngest species are contributing unique perspectives. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. On the observatory's main screen, reports scrolled past of isolated conflicts, attempts to steal advanced technology, political upheavals as some worlds struggled to adapt to the new reality. Humanity's emergence had shaken the foundations of countless civilizations. We knew there would be resistance, Shen said, noting Vera's concern. Change on this scale is never easy, but look at what we've achieved in just 1 year. She gestured, and the display shifted to show construction projects across the galaxy. The quantum barrier network was being reinforced and expanded. New research stations studied the contained void hunters, trying to understand and guide their transformation. Most importantly, species that had never worked together were now collaborating on a scale unprecedented in galactic history. This was always the real test, Webb explained to the assembled representatives. Not whether we could stop the void hunters, but whether the galaxy was ready for the next stage of evolution. Every artifact we left, every subtle guidance we provided, was preparing you for this moment. The age of separation is over, Chen continued, but so is the age of unrestricted technological sharing. We must find a balance between progress and wisdom, between advancement and understanding. Vera stepped forward. As the leader of the Valari Scientific Coalition, she had seen firsthand both the benefits and dangers of rapid technological advancement. My people have learned this lesson, she addressed the gathering. We've seen civilizations tear themselves apart trying to advance too quickly. The human way, gradual development, earned understanding, is wisdom born of experience. The observatory's displays shifted again, showing the contained void hunters. The entities were no longer the pure darkness they had been. Patterns of light swirled within them, suggesting the beginning of a transformation that even humanity had only theorized about. Reality itself is evolving, Chen explained. The cycle of universe death and rebirth that created the void hunters is changing. And we, all of us, are part of that change. The barriers aren't just containing them, they're showing them a new way to exist. But such change requires patience, Webb added. The transformation will take thousands of years. The quantum barriers must be maintained. The stellar network must be preserved. Most importantly, the knowledge of how to shape reality itself must be shared responsibly. Alert chimed softly. On the main display, a new signal appeared, another void rift, forming at the edge of known space. But this time, the gathered species didn't panic. Throughout the galaxy, automated defense systems activated. Ships from a dozen species moved into predetermined positions. The quantum barrier network hummed with power drawn from thousands of stars. They're still coming, Vera observed. They will for some time, Chen agreed. But each encounter is an opportunity, not just to protect our reality, but to help them transform, to show them there's another way. And that, Webb said to the assembled representatives, is humanity's final lesson. We stayed hidden not because we wanted to rule, but because we needed equals. Partners who understood not just the how of advanced technology, but the why of responsible development. The new void rift stabilized, contained within minutes by the coordinated defense network. Throughout the galaxy, ships and stations shared data, refined techniques, worked together with an efficiency that would have been impossible just a year ago. The true age of galactic civilization begins now, Chen announced, not with conquest or competition, but with cooperation and understanding. The Void Hunters forced humanity to evolve beyond our original nature. Now we all face the same challenge, evolving beyond what we are, into what we could be. Outside the observatory, Earth's sun pulsed with artificial patterns, its energy feeding the vast network that protected and transformed reality itself. Humanity's long vigil was over, but an even greater adventure was just beginning. In the depths of contained void space, the entrapped entities continued their slow transformation. Patterns of light and darkness swirled together, suggesting possibilities that even humanity's ancient science had never imagined. The galaxy was changing, reality itself was changing, and every species now had a part to play in that grand evolution. The age of secrets was over. The age of understanding had begun.